Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. This is it, everybody. Everything that we're about to get, all the new changes coming. It's all about the midterms. I have the evidence, the receipts, guys. This is huge. In order for us to win the midterms, we have to keep winning for Americans. We have really good news for you today. We can trust Trump, guys, that he is coming out and has said already officially not granting mass amnesty to illegal non-citizens. He said he's focused on the Americans, which is good to hear, guys, because we know there is a lot of rhinos in the establishment within Congress. Oh, sorry, guys. Also, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said we are on track to take in over $300 billion in tariff revenue this year. This would put us on track for getting over $600 billion next year in additional revenue, and more is coming, guys. This is the good news. Listen up, guys. Your boy is bringing it to you today. We are talking about Social Security increases to Medicare. The Social Security Administration came out today and said they are 5 months ahead of schedule on payouts and are starting to factor in the new tariff revenue that we are getting, that they've been able to bring in new increases to Americans, guys. It's all about the midterms. Everything is happening because it's intentional. Right now, I have all the details, all the new changes that are coming, but 28 executive orders were codified through the big beautiful bill to bring in thousands of dollars to every single American family, big time, because the most important one, guys, is codifying the DOGE efficiency initiatives. This right here, guys, get ready. This is where DOGE is still real. DOGE checks are still real. They're still in the works. I have all the evidence to show you guys. President Trump is 100% pushing forward with full speed, bullet train, baby, and it's all working together. Everything that he said he was going to make the economy thrive, make it grow, is working. Listen to this. Secretary Bessent just announced and said that now that we are scheduled to take in over $300 billion in tariff revenue this year. This holds to the DOGE team, who has been working to not only codify all the cuts, codify all the grant cuts, all the contract cuts, cut out the non-essential travel restrictions, cut out the credit cards, all this stuff to give back to the American people, guys. All this is in the big beautiful bill. They're not talking about it, but we're going to show you because it's leading to the biggest increase to Americans' pockets we've ever seen in America. This is what winning looks like, but Trump has said we've got to win the midterms. If we don't win the midterms, then he'll get impeached by the House. We won't get to fulfill his political agenda, and we will start losing again. But guys, this is big bombshell news today because now the Trump's cabinet has come out and solidified a lot of what I'm saying, guys. This is America winning. All this good news. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I want to say thank you to everybody who is watching, to all of our subscribers and viewers, guys. Y'all are the best. If you're not subscribed and you're watching, please consider hitting that subscribe button, joining our family so that we can serve you with the top news every day, guys. It's my job to bust my butt, build you an amazing show you all the receipts, all the evidence, and make sure that you're informed. Want to give some love to everybody who's given a super chat donation. Give some love to those that are members of the channel. We could not do it without you guys. We are living in history right now. With everything that's happening, with all the stuff that Trump said would happen is happening when it comes to the money coming in, the DOGE cuts, the DOGE checks, guys, the increases, it's all real. If you appreciate all this, guys, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, we've got a big show for you today because, again, too, even with Elon Musk coming out as for the New America Party, we got some news that a lot of that is not going anywhere. Trump is pushing forward with MAGA. Let me know your thoughts, where you stand at, guys, because this is big. Elon Musk got a lot of money, but it ain't stopping Trump. Check this out.
Another option always sounds great, because the grass is always greener on the other side, right? Well, but then you get there and you're like, might not have been what I thought this was. Look, Elon's got this brilliant new idea for a third party, the America Party, and he's got enough money to make a splash at least. But I don't know if he's actually got enough money to actually win anything. Elon tweeting out, Quote, by a factor of 2 to 1, you want a new political party and you shall have it. When it comes to bankrupting our country with waste and graft, we live in a one-party system, not a democracy. We're a constitutional republic. Today, the America Party is formed to give you back your freedom. Now, look. Wow. This sounds great, and this is what the Republican Party was created as when the Whig Party had the conservative majority in the past, pre-Civil War. Here's the problem. Third parties almost always benefit Democrats because the base of the Democrat Party will vote exactly how they're told, whereas Republicans tend to be a little bit more free thinkers. Look, there has not been any successful campaigns outside of the two-party system since Lincoln, who was obviously the first ever elected Republican who broke away from the Whig Party, and that was his second time running for president. Since then, there hasn't been any success in this. They have succeeded in spoiling the party that they sought to break away from or were disenfranchised by, though, like Elon.
Guys, and again, too, just listen to this, guys. You just heard him say that third parties usually benefit Democrats. So is Elon Musk mad enough? Does he know something of what's going on enough at Trump to make Trump lose the midterms? Why do you think Trump is bringing all the increases to every American? Because one thing that'll win, guys, is when people feel like they're making more money, they feel more money in their pockets, they will vote with their wallets. Guys, look at this right here. This is the big stuff that Trump's not playing around with. I told you guys, Social Security Administration completes sending payments 5 months ahead of schedule. These payments include both new and backdated payments under the new laws passed in January, and more is coming. The big beautiful bill, guys, look at this bottom number in bold. Under the new big beautiful bill, this is for a person who makes tips. This is the person who works overtime. $7,500 going to their bank account, getting into their pocket. This is what Americans feel, and they will vote with their wallets, and that's what Trump is betting on. Because no matter what, with everything that's coming due, guys, you know that Elon Musk is going to be spending some big bucks to try and combat the big a beautiful bill and what it stands for. And this is where you let me know in the comments, when you feel it in your wallet, do you not vote with your wallet?
And there's more than half a dozen examples of this, but some of the more prominent ones are 1912. Theodore Roosevelt ran on the Progressive Party ticket, won 27.4% of the popular vote, 88 electoral votes, 6 states. He was unique in that he was a former president, but this was the most successful third-party bid. But he split the Republican vote and gave us Woodrow Wilson that arguably led to the Great Depression. So thanks, Teddy. And the next most unsuccessful one was 1992, Ross Perot, who ran as an independent, getting almost 19% of the popular vote, the highest for an independent since Roosevelt in 1912, but he won 0 electoral votes. But exit polls even showed that if people thought he could have won, they would have voted for him. And he also ran with a lot of his own money, kind of like Elon would do. Well, he wouldn't be running because he wasn't born here, but you get my point. This is the one, though, that we should be most worried about because I think he, most like Elon, is in this whole economic outlook, where rigid deficit reduction, uncompromising on a lot of issues and things like that, much like Elon. And what happened with Ross Perot? We got Bill Clinton. However, because of Newt Gingrich as Speaker of the House, there was gridlock. Obviously, Newt Gingrich being a Republican. Because of that referendum from Ross Perot about the rigid budgets, we did balance the budget, which looks at today as pretty much infeasible.
Guys, and again, too, I'm telling you, there's just so much happening. I want you to see the context of what is happening, what the White House has just said with the big cabinet meeting. The White House, per the White House, there will be no amnesty for illegal immigrants. So this is a big win for Trump. We're not giving amnesty. I've got all the details for you in a moment, guys. They're not going to just grant mass amnesty to a lot of illegals, which again, too, is a wonderful, wonderful thing. There's a lot of lawmakers trying to push for that. But what's also breaking news is that President Trump has just said that the U.S. will send more weapons to Ukraine. So, guys, this is all just happened in the past few moments, the past minutes. So we're bringing you the breaking news. Where do you stand at, guys? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, because a third party is going to rock this nation, especially with somebody who has the money like Elon Musk. But where do you stand? Are you still for Trump, even though we're about to send weapons to Ukraine. We got the big, beautiful bill passed. We got good news coming for everybody in America to see increases in their wallets. But is it enough? Check this out. And if you appreciate this, guys, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, thank you so much for your support.
This is stupid. Elon used to be the darling of the left. Then he switched over to Trump, and we all loved him for it. Then they had this fallout. So now he's in some sort of no man's land. Then if he does this, he might get a few Republicans like, I don't know, George Conway or something weird, for someone else from the Lincoln Project or something. But I don't think he's going to get any Democrats, which means he could offset J.D. Vance in the next election cycle potentially. This is the psyche, though, of Elon Musk. And to a degree, look, I kind of sympathize. At least I understand where he's coming from. He slept on a floor for 100 days straight, working 20 hours a day, 7 days a week to cut government spending. And then this big, beautiful bill comes along, and which raises the debt ceiling and has a bunch of crazy spending. And some of which we need.
So again, guys, remember, more increases for Social Security, for Medicare. We got the Doge checks that are coming, yet we had to raise the national debt. Are you okay with that? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, because a lot of people are okay with raising the debt, national debt, as long as they see an increase coming to them, when Elon Musk is saying no.
But a lot of it we don't, like the $85 million to move a decades-old space shuttle down to Texas. But we know Elon is a bit on the spectrum, okay? He self-admitted he has Asperger's, which can drive impulse, but his impulse could actually spend billions of dollars and not even bat an eye, by the way. That's a huge amount of money in politics, considering Donald Trump only spent $1 billion on his campaign, tops, and that's with outside money too. And this could legitimately end up with AOC being president, if you can imagine that. Just simply because there's not enough free thinkers on the left. And through a plurality, they'll just vote party lines, and then there we are. You got Jasmine Crockett and AOC. Look, I'm with Scott Jennings on this one.
It's harder than it looks to start a political party, and we'll see where they go with it. My humble advice to Elon, who I admire very much actually, is that you may be dividing the forces of people who want to save Western civilization to the benefit of the people who don't. And so to the extent that this effort would divide conservatives and Republicans against each other, that would be helpful.
He's right. But even Trump weighed in on this further.
I think it's ridiculous to start a third party. We have a tremendous success with the Republican Party. The Democrats have lost their way, but it's always been a two-party system. And I think starting a third party just adds to confusion. It really seems to have been developed for two parties. Third parties have never worked. So he can have fun with it, but I think it's ridiculous.
Guys, and again, too, remember, guys, there's lots of wins. Trump is banking on what you're seeing on the screen right here. Per the leading report, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent has announced a significant increase in tariff revenue collections. $100 billion collected this year, $300 billion projected by the end of 2025 over the next 10 years. This is on the low end, almost $3 trillion. Guys, this is where they said the Doge checks are coming from. This is where the external revenue service is coming from. This is where we reduce and eliminate all taxes on everybody making under $150,000 or less. These are the receipts, guys, and the money is there. So if we can get up to $600 to $700 billion in almost $1 trillion in tariff revenue, this is where that money starts coming more back to Americans, to seniors. This is where the senior bonus that we've told you comes from. But with what things are at right now, Elon Musk wants to stop any new spending. And he said he's going to use all of his money for it, guys. Upwards of almost $1 billion. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you support this or not? Because this is happening whether you like it or not.
To some extent, I agree with Elon's premise on this, but I don't agree with him starting a third party. Look, I'm someone who believes that taxation is theft and that the 16th Amendment was the worst thing this country has seen since slavery. I have disdain for government spending and handouts. Look, I cringe when I drive through D.C. seeing the amount of buildings with these huge white columns funded by the government stealing 50% of my paycheck. I am so frustrated that no matter who I vote for, the national debt keeps growing and they keep promising to not do that. But we have to look at the single fact that this Trump term is the first time since Bill Clinton and Newt Gingrich that we've legitimately shrunk the federal government.
Yes.
Donald Trump has eliminated, fired, or shut down like 250,000 employees, government employees. Sure, would I like 5 times that many? Yeah, but I'm probably not going to get it. But we better get more, because in passing this giant bill that we just passed, a lot of things were taken out of it by Senate, by the Congress, that we were promised would be in there, and they weren't there. And we're not going to forget about this. This big, beautiful bill was one step for getting this country on the right track. One step. And the big thing was tax cuts. Look, I could find a way to understand some raise in the debt ceiling if it accompanies greater tax cuts that Trump is promising now, like no income taxes at all for people under $200,000. That would be swell.
Right there, guys.
But this is the bigger problem. Because the House and the Senate did not fully execute Trump's agenda, there's not enough fiscal hawks out there to throw or there are enough, actually, I should say, to throw the next presidential election to a Democrat if Elon goes through with this with all of his money.
I'm telling you.
And that's what I worry about. Now, look,
and it's coming, guys. I'm telling you, look at this right here. I want to show you the receipts, guys. The evidence is right here. So in the big, beautiful bill, Trump codified 28 of his executive orders. And I want you to see the one right here, number 6, if you can see it, guys. Number 6 says, implementing the president's DOGE cost efficiency initiative. This is where the DOGE checks are coming from, guys. It's right here. It's an executive order that's been codified. What are they doing, guys? They are firing a lot of wasteful just positions in government that don't do anything. They are cutting all the spending when it comes to all the credit cards. They're putting a credit card freeze on everything. They are codifying a lot of the DOGE cuts with this efficiency initiative in terms of personnel that work for the federal government. All this stuff right here. So Trump is backing up what he promised. Individually, we did not see the DOGE cuts codified, but right here in the DOGE cost efficiency initiative, you're talking about trillions of dollars that are going to be saved with this one law. That's a law now. It's not an executive order. This is where the DOGE checks come in, guys. This is where they increase and bring in the senior boost to everybody that is over 65. This is now fully in place. But I want to show you these other things that are happening that, again, when you put other people in, Democrats, if they get into the House, and if they win the House and the Senate, they can win and redo all this stuff. You have people that are on both sides of the aisle now. Some people are supporting Now America Party because Trump and Pam Bondi didn't release the Epstein list. You have even Steve Bannon who's come out, and you're about to hear a lot of stuff on the amnesty. But Steve Bannon said, Mr. President, the most dangerous criminals are the deep state gangsters. Cash committed to arrest immediately. They're laughing at us as their crimes against America go unpunished. So a lot of people are separating the aisle, guys. Where do you land at? If you appreciate the truth, guys, if you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, we are bringing the receipts today. Listen to this, guys, because a lot of things are changing in the MAGA party with what happened yesterday. Check this out.
Part of that's in response to, there's word out that how possibly did they do the Epstein announcement last night. And there is word out behind the scenes that, that was a misdirection play to get everybody to bounce as they try to force President Trump to do some mass amnesty. But guess what? MAGA can walk and chew gum at the same time. There's a lot of activity going on with the Epstein situation, finding out exactly what's going on. Tom Fitton's on it. All these different groups are on it. And I think you'll see developments on that, hopefully in the next couple of days. But like I said at the end of the show today when we had Rosemary Jenks on, they sold, look, on War Room, we're the first ones to go to Navarro and these guys say, hey, look, if you want to do this big, beautiful bill, it's a supply side tax cut. You got to put your own math together and add everything. Like President Trump today sending out everything on these tariffs, sending out letters on tariffs. Here's your tariff, 32% Croatia, Bosnia this, 25%. South Korea, suck on this, Japan, 25%. I mean, President Trump's dropping bombs. Add all that in there, particularly the jobs coming back, all of it, deregulation, full spectrum dominance, energy, boom, come up with the economic model, show how you get to 2.8 to 3.4% growth. I'm the guy that had to bring up, hello, remember, fourth quarter 2019, there's 3.4% growth. We can hit that again, and that's selling. However, part of the White House, and I see this, I understand it, we're selling, don't want to talk about the debt ceiling, don't want to talk about anything like that. They want to talk about the $170 billion, secure the border, mass and deportations. Fine, we'll take that play too. But that's mass deportations. It's 7,000 a day. I think Tom Homan concurred 7,000 a day. I think gets you over 3.5, 4 years, 9, 10 million folks. That's kind of our number. Fine. In LA today, in MacArthur Park, kind of up armored with it looks like a riot patrol horses and people totally decked out, ICE and other assets going through. And it says MS-13. Hey, MS-13 is great. Get them all. They got to go.
Yes.
But mass deportations, the operative word there is mass. That means all people, as Charlie Kirk said.
And guys, I want to solidify your just context of knowledge of what is going on with the mass amnesty. So Trump came out, said no mass amnesty. Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins confirms there will be no amnesty. The mass deportations will continue, but in a strategic way. And again, too, guys, we bring you the receipts. Trump came out and said verbatim, there's no amnesty coming. This is a direct quote from him. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Sweet Kitten, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. Y'all show Sweet Kitten some love in the chat. So again, lots of things are happening right now. We're going to bring you the truth, guys, of what the people are actually saying.
Everyone here illegally has got to go home. There can't be any amnesty for anybody. Everybody here illegally has to go home. They have to go home. They have to get in line and come in legally. And guess what? On the legal side, we want to do away with some of that too. There's just too many. There's not enough. You have 12 million STEM graduates in this country that don't have jobs. Until every STEM person has a job, why would I let another foreigner in this country to take their job? Why low-skilled wages are increasing under President Trump because you're restricting people coming into the country. But until their wages are better, why will we still allow the illegal aliens to stay here? If you deport them, their wages are going to go up, and guess what?
Right there, guys. Again, right now, we have spent between $250 billion to $300 billion a year in the past 4 years on non-citizen illegal health care. That's just health care, guys. You got Scott Besson, who has just told us that next year we could see between $600 and $800 billion in tariff revenue. 6 to 800 billion in revenue, save $300 billion in illegal citizen, like paying for their health care. We take all that, now you're at $1 trillion. Where do you think the Doge checks, the Doge dividends, all this is coming from? This is reality of what's happening. The math is adding up of what they're doing and what they're planning to do. So whenever I tell people, and I've told you before, President Trump, even Elon Musk and the Doge team, they never say anything without it being exactly intentional. So when they say things like the Doge checks, they already see the math. They already see numbers that we haven't seen yet. But now we're starting to see the reality of it, the reality of what's been done in the big, beautiful bill. And now we're seeing again, too, why the mass deportations are still going.
It's low-skilled workers. It's not going to break you. I understand the billionaires that call you now don't have people to cut their grass and do their lawns and clean their pool and clean their house and be nannies to the kids because they don't pay attention to the kids. How do I know that? I see them at these universities where they don't know anything except they hate America. I don't know. Maybe they hate America because their parents didn't raise them.
Yes.
I don't know. And quite frankly, I don't care. They all have to go. So if we have to have a fight now over, and people around President Trump saying we got an amnesty, and he called out Brooke Rollins, I'm just saying what the man said. Hey, Brooke, thanks. You've been pushing this. Thank you for Big Ag. Thank you very much. Gave a name check. Just saying. We cannot have mass amnesty. We're just at the very beginning of this. This is different political. I don't even care about, it'd break our coalition, the momentum. Of course it would. But that's not even the point. The point is, we have a country to save.
Yes.
And this shows you this lethal combination of too much wealth concentrated in too few people with too little judgment and too little actual love of this country and sacrifice for this country, combined with a deep state apparatus that wants to keep control of an empire they've helped to build and that we, quite frankly, don't want.
Guys, again, the receipts matter. Evidence matters, guys. Look at this right here. I want to show you, this is from May, this is since January. 2 million plus jobs have been added to the American economy for American citizens. Guys, this isn't a little thing. They projected it to be half of what you're seeing now. Everything that you're going to hear from the CBO, which is run by Democrats, everything that you're going to hear from all these top economic expert analysis is all Democrats. So again, too, when you bet against Trump, that is bet against Trump has lost. Everything that they've said against him has been incorrect, wrong, complete lie. So when I hear about him and what he wants to do for Americans and bringing back Doge checks and bringing back a Social Security increase and putting Americans first, the evidence and the numbers are not lying, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, because this is the real stuff that's happening. So we got to focus in on what is the truth, and that's what I want to bring to you.
It's the fight before us. It's not any one piece of legislation. If it's got to be a fight, it's got to be a fight. If we got to do it now, we got to do it now. So we're here. That's what Charlie started today. We're going to smoke them all out. We're going to smoke out the mass amnesty folks and say, show me what you got. What do you have? What are we doing here? It's mass deportations. That's what got us here. That's what won 2024 with everything else, even the economy. The key part of it was to get wages up, to stop the destruction of working class communities of people of color, African American and Hispanic. That's healthcare system and school system, and all of it is being shattered. Their communities, as their wages are being driven down. No. We're not going to have mass amnesty. Cannot have it. And yes,
guys,
we appreciate.
And I want to show you this too, because again, remember, all this stuff matters with what you're about to hear next. Everybody's like, well, what's going on with all the corruption, the deep state, everything that's happened, the elitists, all that's been taken care of? Look at this from the leading report. Guys, this cabinet meeting was insanely big. Leading report, President Trump says the U.S. is considering a federal takeover of Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. has the highest per capita income out of any place in the entire United States. The place that makes our laws, that determines all the executive orders, all the laws that take place, is literally the richest spot in America. And what Trump has said in the cabinet meeting is it has been taken over by deep staters and people that have 100% taken advantage of the American people. So in order to clean them out, we've got to take back over Washington, D.C. We got to make sure that we don't have lobbyists that spend billions and billions and billions of dollars to buy lawmakers in order to fix the vote, in order to make sure that their votes get passed or their laws get passed, guys. I'm telling you, today is such a good news day. Not only is Trump coming out to show everybody that he is America first, but he's doing it in the most boldest way possible, and that's cleaning out the deep state from Washington, D.C. You can't put your settle here. You can't be trying to be there and buy dinners and take all these lawmakers out for golf. You can't. You got to stop giving them all these luxurious vacations. It is ending now. This is the first step. Big beautiful bill gets done. Permanent tax cuts. Every American wins. But now it's cleaning out the deep state. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you appreciate this, you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button. Mr. Norby, thank you so much for the super chat, brother. He said, crazy stuff. The Mexican rioters are blaming Trump in Mexico during the riots, kicking Americans out of the cities and destroying many businesses, and it's going on now. How crazy is that? Wonder if Democrats have a hand in it. Whoa, let's go, Mr. Norby Show. Mr. Norby, OG of the channel. Some love in the chat, as well as peace, love. Much respect for your monthly online donations. Thank you for transparency, Joel. Peace, love. Thank you so much. Y'all show peace, love. Some love in the chat, guys. A lot of things are changing, and what you're about to hear next, guys, is again cleaning out the deep state from all the same people that tried to put Trump in jail. Listen to this.
With impunity. I mean, John Brennan looked at Congress and said the Steele dossier had nothing to do with the ICA, and in fact, he ordered it to be put in the ICA in 2 locations, not only in the annex, it's also relied upon in the weakest of all of the conclusions in that intelligence community assessment from the Obama era, which is that Putin was trying to help President Trump win, which is actually very disputed in the intelligence community. People did not believe that when John Brennan put that ICA out. People just look into our eye and they lie to us. They tell us that Hunter Biden laptop wasn't real. It was. They told us Russia collusion was real. It wasn't. The reason they continue to do so is because there is no consequence for these lying, for these efforts to hijack elections, to hijack the intelligence process. And it's why many Americans just want to see the government shrunk to a very small size, and maybe some people brought to justice. John Brennan's 2017 testimony is not prosecutable because the 5-year statute is, but people are looking today at his 2020 testimony to John Durham and his 2023 testimony to the House Judiciary Committee. Those are within the statute of limitations. It'll be interesting to see if Pam Bondi does anything with that.
Guys, I'm telling you, right now, there is a divide that's trying to happen because of what has not happened in D.C., but I believe that Trump is on it because of what he has said about taking back Washington, D.C., because listen to this, guys. A lot of accounts are saying this. We all showed up to vote for America First and accountability, and what we got was Jeffrey Epstein took his own life with no client list, no voter ID mandate, amnesty for illegal farm workers, more weapons to Ukraine, which is true, and not a single Democrat has been held accountable. Guys, this is the great divide. Let me know where you stand. Are you still 100% MAGA, 100% Trump? Let me know in the comments. Are you starting to see that maybe things were too good to be true? Are you thinking about joining the America Party with Elon Musk? Because he is coming out against everybody, guys. And this is a big one for Elon Musk to say. Elon Musk just posted and said that Steve Bannon, is in the Epstein files. He already said that Trump was, and now he's saying that Bannon is in the Epstein files. I don't know if Elon Musk is off his rocker, but again, guys, a billionaire, a 400 billionaire type of guy never says anything without there being intentionality behind it for what he's trying to do. Trump is moving forward. Trump is not stopping. I want you to listen to this big stuff next of what's going on with the next steps of this big, beautiful bill, the next laws that are coming from our boy Jim Jordan, because this is some really good news. Listen to this.
Member of the Oversight and Accountability Committee joining us now from the Capitol. Good morning to you, Congressman. Good to see you.
Good morning.
Let's jump into this if we can. We appreciate that. You just watched this clip of legacy media put together, obviously members on the left, highly critical of the One Big Beautiful bill. What are your thoughts on that and the specific criticism that you hear about it?
Well, I always say, it's a good bill because the left hates it. And the left hates it because it doesn't empower government. It actually empowers people, empowers families. The largest tax cut in American history. That's good for moms and dads. That's good for families. Lets them spend their money on their goals and dreams. Largest investment in border security. Left doesn't like that because we saw what they did in the 4 years of the Biden administration. Let 10 million people just come into the country. So you got the largest tax cut, the largest investment in border security, resources for ICE agents, resources for detention space, resources for the wall, resources for immigration judges. And then the other two things that I think are so good is you have work requirements. If you're an able-bodied adult and you're getting taxpayer money today in our welfare system, guess what? From now on, you're going to have to work. That's a good thing for taxpayers. It's a good thing for our economy. And frankly, it's good for those individuals. And then finally, the thing I think is
really... And I'll tell you this, guys, what he just said there is literally throwing the entire United States, especially the low-income class, into a big fight. You have people, and I'm not going to show you it, guys, because, again, the language is so bad, and we're a family-friendly content channel on here, but the language is so bad. People are coming out and they are boasting. They're bragging about not having to work, getting $3,000-$4,000 worth of food stamps, getting free housing, getting free internet, all this stuff. And they are saying that they will not abide by whatever this big, beautiful bill says to actually go back and work. So this is where we're at with America, guys. No accountability has been put on any of these, especially able-bodied people within SNAP, food assistance, or housing assistance, or Medicare. Trump is 100% changing a lot of things. Tell me where you stand on this, because again, too, it's one thing, the social programs are supposed to be there to help people, and you would think that the people that are getting it would be thankful and grateful that there is a system like that taxpayers pay into to help everybody out. But we are seeing a different story now, guys. It makes me actually sick to see people say that they deserve to be given all this money. They deserve to be able to not have to work and do whatever they want and be able to get money that's due to them. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
Important as well. We now have, for the first time, built into the tax code a school choice provision, which is going to give parents, moms and dads, the ability to pick where their son or daughter is going to get the best education. So, of course, the left doesn't like it. That's not big government. That's about empowering people.
But it's not just the left, though, Congressman. It's Congressman Thomas Massey, a Republican. It's Elon Musk. So there are some on that side that also don't agree.
They're not criticizing those four elements. What they're critical of is, and I understand this, is we should have cut more spending. I get that. Right. But when you got a small majority in both the House and the Senate, it's tough to put those votes together. So, yeah, should we have cut more spending? Of course. But you got to cobble together the votes with a small majority in both House and Senate to get something passed. We were able to do that. It does take the spending curve from this kind of trajectory and bends it down some. Mm-hmm. But overall, this is still a really good piece of legislation. Could you take any one of those elements I talked about, put it as a standalone bill, you'd vote for it. Would you vote for tax cuts? Yeah. Would you vote for border security? Yeah. You would vote for those. So you put it all together, somehow it's not good enough because it doesn't cut enough spending. Look, I get that, but I think overall this is a good piece of legislation.
And those points you mentioned, every Democrat voted against. So it's very clear the divide here we're seeing between the majority of House Republicans and senators, and then you've got the Democrats on the other side. And yet there's Elon Musk, who's interested in creating a third party. So we've got to ask you about this post on X. He shared a recent poll. He said, by a factor of 2 to 1, y'all want a new political party, and you should have it. When it comes to bankrupting our country with waste and graft, we live in a one-party system, not a democracy. Today, the America Party is formed to give you back your freedom, of course, referencing a July 4th poll where he asked his followers, who knows where, by the way, where these voters are actually from. They could be outside of the country here, but they're apparently in favor of creating this third party. How do you view it, Congressman?
Guys, and before you hear what he has to say, guys, I want to show you this too, because this is creating the divide. President Trump says the U.S. will send more weapons to Ukraine. This was something that whenever they did all the polls, like 80% of people said, we want out of this war. We want to stay clear of it. We don't want more forever wars. But yet we're now sending more weapons back. Guys, this is a big deal. It's got a lot of people upset. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. The other thing too, guys, former CIA officer alleged that the deep state likely destroyed the Epstein files. Again, this type of stuff that we expected to know, we expected to see, and now we see are nothing. We're seeing nothing. We're supposed to be out of the Russia-Ukraine war by now, but we're not. We're not getting anything from the Epstein files. Nobody's getting charged. Nobody's getting going to jail over it. So a lot of people are upset with what's going on with Trump's cabinet team. Not upset at Trump. Trump can't do everything, but they are upset at Trump's cabinet team, and that's why they're looking for a third party. Gregosaurus, thank you so much for the super chat, brother. He said Trump is anointed and appointed from the Lord. Elon doesn't realize who he's going up against. Watch this space. Y'all show Gregosaurus some love in the chat, because, guys, listen to this. Even in the House, things are starting to shift.
Well, I get nervous every time there's a third party. You run a third party, and if they're focused on fiscal reform, I think that could hurt Republicans and actually wind up electing Democrats, which they want to spend and spend and spend and I think assault our liberties as well. I appreciate the good work Elon Musk has done, particularly when it came to protecting the First Amendment. We worked closely with him in the last Congress when we were focused on what one journalist called the censorship industrial complex, and taking that apart. We even had a letter come to our committee from Mark Zuckerberg where he talked about the fact that the Biden administration pressured us to censor. We did it. We're sorry. We're not going to do it again. And we were able to undo a lot of that and protect First Amendment free speech rights. And Elon Musk was on the forefront of that, so we appreciate that. But I get real nervous about a third party and what that means, because I think it could result in electing more Democrats.
Everything.
When you got 3 people running, you're taking votes from Republicans.
Taking votes from Republicans, because statistically, guys, that's what's happened in the past. Third party comes in, well, guess what? Democrats end up winning. And I just have to show you this, guys, because this is real. The EU rolls out a disinformation law to censor Americans who share non-mainstream news. So remember, this was in existence when Biden was president. Kamala Harris would have continued this. If we don't make sure MAGA wins, if we don't make sure that America first wins, this crap is coming to our United States of America. If you appreciate this truth, guys, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, guys, this is why we have to keep pushing for America first policies, because without it, we will live in censorship. We lived in it for years. Under the Biden administration, conservatives were attacked, guys. I mean, all across the board. But again, who we have, who's going to run, and I can, guys, put money on this. Who's going to run in 2028? It's going to be who you're about to listen to next, because this guy is literally coming out and is as bold as Trump is and will continue MAGA. Let me know your thoughts in the comments if this guy you would vote for him for president in 2028.
And that, by the way, I think explains Mamdani's bizarre appeals to foreign politics intended to signal to one particular group of New Yorkers or another. Let us ask ourselves, why is a mayoral candidate in our nation's biggest city whining about banning Bibi Netanyahu, a country whose population is about the same size as that of New York, and threatening to arrest a foreign leader if he tries to come to New York City? Why is a New York mayoral candidate attacking Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister of India, as a war criminal? Why is he talking about globalizing the Intifada? In fact, what the hell does that even mean in Manhattan? But what might seem like a contradiction makes a little bit of sense if you peel back the onion. Consider a movement that rails against the billionaire class, despite the fact that the billionaire class remains firmly in the corner of the modern left.
Guys, right there, guys. Billionaire class, modern left, guys. I'm sorry to say this, but they still control a lot of Washington, D.C. And that's why Trump said that he wants and he believes that the federal government under him can take back over Washington, D.C. and clean it out. Because I promise you, look, guys, I bring the receipts. Trump considers a federal takeover of governance of Washington, D.C. He said, we have tremendous power at the White House to run places where, when we have to, we could run D.C. We're looking at D.C. We would run it so good. We're thinking about doing it, to be honest with you. Why? Because of this right here. Elon Musk posted and said they arrested and killed Peanut. And I don't know if you remember Peanut, but it was the squirrel that they used to do all the videos about. But have not even tried to file charges against anyone on the Epstein client list. Government is deeply broken. Why, guys? Because you just heard Vance say it. That still, deep state is still controlled by the huge leftist billionaire class.
A movement that idolizes foreign religions, even as it rejects the teachings of those faiths. It rails this new modern left against white people, even as many of its funders and its grassroots activists are privileged whites themselves. Now, I may not speak for many of you, but I was once comforted by these contradictions within the modern left. How could privileged whites march around with a straight face decrying white privilege? How could progressives pretend to love conservative Muslims despite those Muslims' views on gender and sexuality? But the answer is obvious if you think about it. And it's a very, very dangerous and very sad answer. The radicals of the far left, they don't need a unifying ideology of what they're for because they know very well what they're against. What unites Islamists, gender studies majors, socially liberal white urbanites, and big pharma lobbyists, it isn't the ideas of Thomas Jefferson or even of Karl Marx. It's hatred.
Yes.
They hate the people in this room. They hate the President of the United States. And most of all, they hate the people who voted for that President of the United States in the last election in November. This is the animating principle of the American far left. Now, to be clear, it isn't true of most of the people who vote for Democrats. Most of the people who vote for Democrats, they're good people struggling to get by, even if we think that they're misguided in their political judgment. But pay close attention to what the leadership of this movement says outside of the glossy campaign ads and outside of the general election tested messaging themes, and it's obvious what animates the leadership of the modern Democratic Party. The far left doesn't care that BLM, the Black Lives Matter movement, led to a spike in violent crime in urban black neighborhoods, and it did, because that same movement also led to anarchy in middle-class white neighborhoods.
Guys, again, I love this so much because you're hearing from our vice president. You're actually hearing coherent sentences. Kamala Harris could never speak like this, but he's calling it out, and this is why they say that J.D. Vance is the front runner for 2028, guys. The good news is this, is that Trump is setting him up for success with everything we're about to tell you next, guys. Trump is 100% making some big moves with what he's talked about in the cabinet meeting today. But when you hear a guy like this who talks about what the left is trying to do, what he wants, because you're about to hear that next, guys, what he wants to do with Trump moving forward, this could very well be our next president. If you appreciate this, guys, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, let's go.
They do not care that Islamism hates gays and subjugates women because for now, it's a useful tool of death against Americans. And they don't care that too many pharma companies are getting rich from experimental hormonal therapies because in the process, they're destroying the so-called gender binary that has structured social relations between the sexes for the whole of Western civilization. And they certainly don't care that deporting low-wage immigrants will raise the wages of the native-born because they don't mean to create higher living standards for those who are born and raised here, whether they're black, white, or any other skin color. They mean to replace those people with people who will listen to their increasingly bizarre ethnic and religious appeals. They are arsonists, and they will make common cause with anyone willing to light the match. And that's why Mamdani himself is such an appealing instrument to the left. He captures so many of the movement's apparent contradictions in a single human being. A guy who describes the Palestinian cause as central to his identity, yet holds views like abortion on demand or using taxpayer-funded money to fund transgender surgeries for minors. These views, of course, are completely incomprehensible on the streets of Gaza. This guy represents that contradiction. How can you believe in the cause of the Intifada while also holding views that are completely anathema to those people? And the answer is because he's not building a positive program. He's not trying to build prosperity. He's trying to tear something down.
Guys, and what is that, guys? That's the American dream. There's people that right now are trying to hold back the American dream. They're trying to keep Trump pushed down. They don't want Trump to win. They're 100% against him, and that's why I got to show you this, guys, because this is so huge. President Trump has demanded that Jerome Powell resign immediately. As Fed chair says Congress should investigate him. Too late. So they're already going to be investigating him. He's not lowering the interest rates. Remember, $9 trillion of debt is coming due at the end of this year. Trump wants to refinance it, but not at 5%. He wants to refinance it below 1%, so that way it doesn't cause inflation and it doesn't hurt the economy. We heard from Scott Bessent that he said they were looking for Jerome Powell's replacement. Guys, get ready. People have not been able to buy homes. People have been struggling if they've gotten a new car, had to get a new car because the interest rates have been so astronomically high. Trump is looking for interest rates below 1%. And when he comes out in his cabinet meeting and he's demanding that Jerome Powell resign immediately, things are happening behind the scenes, guys. We always have to look at what are they telling us and then what are they really telling us that's happening. This will ignite the economy like nobody's business. And not only that, guys, because I want to show you everything. A lot of people, Trump wants Jerome Powell to resign. A lot of people are asking for Pam Bondi to resign because of this.
The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump. I'm reviewing that. I'm reviewing JFK files, MLK files. That's all in the process of being reviewed because that was done at the directive of the president from all of these agencies.
And of course, you've seen the very strong letter. We will get everything. We will have it in our possession. We will redact it, of course, to protect grand jury information and confidential witnesses, but the American people have a right to know. And Donald Trump is the most transparent president in our nation's history. So not only will America get the full Epstein files, they will get JFK, they will get Martin Luther King.
Yeah, and now we know that ain't happening, guys. So again, too, I'm kind of showing you everything that's kind of breaking right now. A lot of people are asking for Pam Bondi to resign. There's a lot of people that are saying that Trump needs to get some better people around him. But I'm telling you guys, the good news that is coming is so good. Because listen to this. People that are closest to Trump, people that have helped him win big time, are now revealing more of what's going on. Tiffany Yen, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. So keep up the good job, Joel. Thank you so much. Y'all show Tiffany some love. Gregosaurus said Eric Trump for next president. You watch. Let's go. Y'all show Gregosaurus some love in the chat, guys. Big things are happening. Queen of Yeshua, thank you so much for the super chat. Said we are one nation under God, America proud. I love it. Show some love in the chat, guys, because what you're about to hear next, guys, more next steps on what's coming, and it is 100% beautiful. Listen to this.
Triumph. All right. Newt, I would say this is Trump's triumph. Right out of your book. You were a good leading indicator on this. You got the book out before he signed the bill. But this is quite remarkable. And chances are his successes are going to continue. Like I say, I'm taking the over on this bet. What say you?
Well, I mean, first of all, the idea that he could get one bill and could get it through the Senate and the House and signed by July 4th, I think if you'd offered that bet back in January, you'd have a lot of people betting against you. And it's a sign of Trump's vision and of his ability as a closer and as a communicator. He's also set the stage now for Congress to come back and start a 4 or 5 year project of actually balancing the budget, starting with economic growth. Because as you know, as well as anybody in the country, you get this economy roaring. The sheer scale of wealth of people who go to work, get better salaries, have better dividends, all those things create a wave of revenue that changes every factor that's currently being put on. So I think he's on the edge of a huge long-term triumph. I think that he's got a lot of things he's got to solve still. But nonetheless, this is a remarkable couple of weeks. And as you point out, when you take all the different pieces of the last 2 weeks, I don't remember any time recently having had a president have that many successes simultaneously in a 14-day period.
Yeah, well, I think it is quite remarkable, and that's why I'm taking the over, because I think these successes are going to continue. And the Democrats continue to stupidly, in the Trump derangement syndrome, they stupidly oppose everything he does. Why? Because it's him. I think that's the main thing. But this war, they're losing this war. They are losing this war against Donald Trump, it seems to me.
Well, look, I listened to the last 4 or 5 hours of the Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries' amazing filibuster. And I thought I'd never heard anybody speak so long while saying so little that was true. It was an amazing performance because the Democrats have this mantra and they don't get it. The country doesn't believe what they're talking about. And of course, with the rise of Mondami, it's going to be even more obvious and vivid because he is a genuine socialist of the deepest kind. And the damage he could do to New York City would be so phenomenal that it would be a lesson for the whole country of why you don't want to have socialists in charge. So I see the Democrats totally unable to grapple with the real world. Look, the American people want prosperity. They want safety. They want their borders controlled. They want to know they have a better future, both for themselves and their children. And the president's speech in Iowa last week, launching the 250th anniversary, is very important. We're a country bound together by a patriotism that's unique, that says every one of us, of every background, is endowed by God with certain rights. And my older daughter, Kathy Lubbers, was in Sheboygan for the 4th of July, sent me a picture of the local Hmong community that was part of the 4th of July parade, because that's the heart of America. You can come here from anywhere legally, you can contribute to America, and somehow you become American, no matter what's your background. And I think the Democrats just don't get it.
Yeah, you know, the ranking system, I've always oversimplified the Declaration. God is first, men and women are second, government is last. Government works for us, and we get our rights from God. So I think that's a great reference. I know you're a great historian. As bad as the Democrats are, here's Mr. Trump signing this bill with a little talk from the South Lawn balcony of the White House, and he sounds so darn good. Take a listen, Newt.
So this bill will fuel massive economic growth and lift up the hardworking citizens who make this country run. The factory workers, farmers, mechanics, waiters, waitresses, police officers, firefighters, coal miners. We have officially made the Trump tax cuts permanent. That's the largest tax cut in the history of our country. And we've delivered no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security for our great seniors.
Boy, I just love it. When he talks tax cuts and growth like that, Newt Gingrich, I just love it. By the way, Melania is having a great time, too. She's in a very good space as well. Newt, 30 seconds. What next? Where does he go next?
Right here, guys.
Well, look, I think where we go next is continue to modernize the government, move towards a genuinely balanced budget as we did in the late 90s, which brings down interest rates, allows us to have even more tax cuts, and gives the American people genuine control over their lives rather than having government trying to control them.
All right, terrific stuff. Newt Gingrich, great.
Guys, so much stuff is coming, guys. I want to show you this real quick because, again, it's just hilarious. Trump has officially been nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize. I love it what somebody said. They said he would be the first felon in history to be actually to be nominated, but if he won it, the first felon to actually win a Nobel Peace Prize, and I believe he deserves it. He's done some great stuff, especially with the Middle East. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Renee Anderson, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. He said, love you, Joel. Prayers for you and your family and America. I love it. Y'all show Renee some love in the chat, guys. I want to show you this real quick, too, because what you're about to see next, it's all about the deep state. So Trump has already said we have tremendous power at the White House to run places when we have to. We could run D.C. We're looking at D.C. I want to show you this clip, guys, because this is some big stuff coming from our president over what's coming next.
They gave us no credit during this last little, the great, big, beautiful bill. I always use the word great. I add that to it because it really is what it is. There's never been anything like it, actually. And I want to thank all the Republicans that voted for it. And I want to, scold the Democrats because they're voting for tax cuts. They're voting for no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime, and, many other things far more important than that. Great health care. And frankly, every Democrat should lose their election because it was purely political to vote. They were told not to vote for it. So think of it. We got 218 to 2. And then with the Senate, we had 50 to 3. Democrats didn't vote at all, not one positive vote, with all of the good things in there. Economic development money, tremendous border money. Now you're loaded up on the border. And I don't think we're going to need so much of it because we had zero come in last month, so I'm not sure how much of it we want to spend. You may think about that. Wow. You may actually think about saving a lot of money because the wall's been largely built and it obviously worked, but you may want to think about that. But so I think it's incredible when I watch the Democrats and they have standard lines like they had Russia, Russia, Russia. They had the laptop from hell. It all came from Russia. You know, they make things up and they go with it and they feed it to you people in many cases. And they say, here's a line. And I hear the new line is death. Oh, it's death. Everyone's going to die. Has nothing to do with that. In fact, we're saving our country. Death is from allowing 25 million people into our country, of which 3 or 4 are stone cold, hard criminals. 11,888 are murderers, many of them committing more than one murder. That's death, and the Democrats did that. Joe Biden did that by allowing people to come in here just totally unchecked, unvetted, open borders, open borders. The whole world was dumped into our country from prisons, from gangs, from mental institutions. We have many people walking the streets, walking in areas that we don't know anything about, that came out of insane asylums. They released their the insane asylum population into our country, and it's amazing the job that you and Tom Homan are doing, by the way, on that. But we have to get them out, and we have no choice. We have to get them out, and we are getting them out.
Guys, and I want to show you this, guys, because again, too, when it comes to the big, beautiful bill, what's happened, the talk about amnesty, there are a lot of politicians, and I'm saying this, guys, even including Republicans, that are pushing for mass amnesty for illegals in the United States. Trump has came out and said no mass amnesty, but this is how deep they're infiltrated in, guys. We cannot let down. We have to keep pushing hard, keep making sure that we vote the right way, because what you're about to hear next is so real. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, check this out.
Another call from someone on Capitol Hill that affirmed what I was saying. In fact, we had Byron Donalds on the show. He said, Charlie, I'm hearing the very same rumors. To be clear, this is not from President Trump, and President Trump has never and will never stand for mass amnesty or amnesty in any form. But this is so typical Washington, D.C., isn't it? Where you have this amazing accomplishment of the big, beautiful bill, pro-American bill, where you have incredible investment in ICE, and President Donald Trump deserves just rounds of repeated applause for getting this done. And isn't it so much like Washington, D.C., to then just enter in and say, you know what? Now we need mass amnesty. And I've had a lot of people support what I've been saying today. Jim Banks and Mike Lee and Senator Eric Schmidt all took to Twitter and said, no amnesty, no amnesty, no amnesty. Another very high-level senator called me today and said, Charlie, what you are hearing is right. This chatter is happening. And so I felt that an obligation after Independence Day weekend, after the big, beautiful bill was passed, to have the president's back here, to defend the president and his agenda, because I don't want to see him sideswiped or surprised by some unruly anti-Trump actors, especially from the corporate class, that are trying to derail and destroy our coalition through a very deceptive and duplicitous amnesty push.
Okay, so to be clear, you don't think, in your opinion, Donald Trump would ever do something like mass amnesty for an unknown number of illegal aliens currently in the country?
No, I don't think so at all, and I don't think President Trump is pushing for this. In fact, I think it's very similar to what we've seen as these failed attempts throughout the years to try to manipulate MAGA to the Washington, D.C. agenda. It's very similar to tariffs. Remember, for years we said, oh, President Trump is going to back away from tariffs. Nope. President Trump has not backed away from tariffs. And now we see trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars pouring into this country. So I don't want to speak for the president. I'm not part of the president's staff, but I'm a friend of the president and defender of his. But again, I don't want all of a sudden see us have this derailed where someone all of a sudden in September, October is introducing a bill and says that we need to have amnesty. No, instead, what we need is not mass amnesty. We need what the president courageously ran on and what his big, beautiful bill is delivering. Mass deportations. That is every single person that is here illegal in this country deported back to their country of origin.
Not just the Joe Biden illegals, everybody that was here before Joe Biden's first day.
All right, guys, so this is a big one. You just heard the mass. Everybody that's here illegally, if you are here illegally, you need to be deported. That's what they're pushing for. That's what you're hearing. And the number, guys, is around 50 million. 50 million, with about 20 million coming in over the past 4 years. But they say that the number is around 50 million. Let me know your thoughts. This is what I'm seeing across all my feeds over how many illegals are actually in the country that have no citizenship. Guys, remember, when they're illegal, they don't have citizenship. They get paid under the table. They don't pay taxes. They don't pay into Social Security. They don't pay into all this stuff. Why? Because they get paid in cash. They're very cash heavy. That's why a lot of these cash businesses like waitressing and hospitality and things like this, they want them because, again, too, the businesses save money by hiring the illegals. The illegals make more money because they don't have to pay taxes. And this just hurts our economy. And remember, we reported almost $100 billion a year is sent from the United States to Mexico every single year. Over 10 years, that's $1 trillion that doesn't stay in our economy but goes back to Mexico, which tells you how much Mexico is being propped up by the United States. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
Office, correct?
That's right, correct.
Okay, can we be more specific with, you call them members of the ruling class. I know what you're talking about, but I'm not sure everybody at home knows who you're talking about. Who are you talking about?
Corporate types, CEOs, people that have a lot of money and they don't quite understand the failure that was the 1986 Simpson-Mazzoli Act when we tried amnesty, but also members on Capitol Hill, people that are pseudo-political types, consultants. This is not an isolated conversation. And by the way, the reporting, I guess you could call it, that we did on my show has been affirmed, as I mentioned, by Byron Donalds and many people on the Hill. This is not some sort of isolated example. This is now something we say, yeah, Charlie's right. There's rumors, there's chatter, there is real momentum. I don't want to say momentum, but there's definitely attempted momentum behind this. Look, the ruling class is a term that was coined by Angelo Codavia, who unfortunately passed away suddenly a couple years ago. And he divided the country between the citizens and the ruling class. The ruling class are the very same people that said, you need to trust the experts, follow the science, wear a mask while you shower, take 9 different booster shots. The border is completely secure and wide open. The Hunter Biden laptop, it was Russian disinformation. Right. The ruling class is out of touch with the American people. And the brilliance of President Trump, he's a defector from once being a member of the billionaire elite. And he has been an unstoppable champion of blue-collar America, which is why I think President Trump is the greatest warrior that we have to stand against any sort of amnesty push.
Okay, so last week Tom Tillis announces he is going to step down at the end of his term. Congressman Bacon, other members on the right are doing the same thing. In the House, not finishing their terms, which I think is ridiculous. It's a 2-year term. You get elected, you can't finish your term. It's absurd. Are there any members of the House or Senate on the right who are quietly pushing for something like mass amnesty that you're aware of? And I think we should be specific at this point. I always think, Charlie, that Republicans in particular are hesitant to be specific for whatever reason. I'm not sure why.
Guys, what you're about to hear next, again, too, this is the real deal. This is why Trump literally just came out and said that they want, here's the note, we have tremendous power at the White House to run places when we have to. We could run D.C. We're looking at D.C. We would run it so good. Why? Because the DC is filled with people with agendas. They got a lot of money, lobbyists, guys. I'm telling you, if the richest place, if you take the entire United States, and I'm going to see if I can find a chart real quick, but if you look at the entire United States and where is the richest place per capita in the entire United States, it's DC. So the place where people are on a fixed salary, work for the government, and they make the most, and that's where the most people make the most money. It's all corrupt, and that's why Trump is fighting this big time. And that's why, again, too, the only reason they can stay in power is if the Democrats win, and that's why they want the illegals to stay here, and that's why they want to grant mass amnesty. Randy Blanks, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. He said, God has President Trump's back. I'm not worried. 100%. Y'all show Randy some love in the chat.
Name names yet for strategic reasons, but what I'm saying is completely correct and right. But yes, of course, there are members on the Hill that are pushing for this. But don't just take my word for it. I mean, look, we had Gang of Eight back 10 years ago. There was an amnesty push a couple years ago as well. You've had people like Lindsey Graham, not saying he's doing it this time, but in the past, Lindsey Graham has before said that we need to have some sort of bipartisan agreement and secure the border. And don't take my word for it. Look what James Lankford did last year. James Lankford himself was the author of, it was a soft amnesty bill, where it's like, oh, you know, we're going to only allow 5,000 people a day to come across the southern border. Right. Oh, really, Mr. Lankford? And so this, we can name those names. Again, I'm not saying they're behind this particular effort. I want to be quoted correctly. But James Lankford and Lindsey Graham and many of the more moderates in the U.S. Senate, they have a track record going back a long time of supporting this stuff. And not to mention, by the way, if you go back to the 1986 Simpson-Mazzoli Act, which was a catastrophe, it was probably Reagan's greatest mistake as president, which was mass amnesty. Guess who was the member of the House that was pushing it? Chuck Schumer. The very same people that pushed amnesty in 86 are now the people that are going to try to get through it, and the allies in Capitol Hill today. Amnesty failed in 86. It would fail today. And President Donald Trump should enjoy this phenomenal legislative victory and allow the deportations to flow. Wages will go up, home prices will go down, inflation will cool, and his voters will be thrilled that he fulfilled his promise to the American
Donald Trump politically the most.
Guys, winning right now at the highest level. I got to show you one more thing because, again, the breaking news is just popping out so big. This America party is happening, whether you like it or not. Elon Musk has come out and said, how can people be expected to have faith in Trump if he won't release the Epstein files? So this is big, big stuff that's happening, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments if you appreciate all this truth. If you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button. Want to say thank you to everybody who's watching. If you're not subscribed, please consider joining our family here at TrueLife News. We want you here. We want to serve you every day with the top news. Lots is going on, guys, but we bring you all the news. Such good news today over what Trump is making happen for the American people. I want to say thank you to all of our members of the channel, all of those that have given a super chat donation. Remember that whenever you donate on this channel, we take this money, we donate on the 22nd of every single month to a local charity. And this month, it's going to be to a local children's home, and I do it live on stream so that you can see I actually really do it, guys. I'm not just telling you I do it. And I'm just so thankful that you partner with us to help us in our giving. Guys, you can see by our community, our subscriber count, we are growing. Our family is growing. We are going to be interviewing presidents one day. We're going to be interviewing congressmen, congresspeople, and we're going to be changing lives with all the giving because that's a big part of where my heart is at. I want to give some special love to Jeff, Sweet Kitten, Mr. Norby, OG of the channel, Peace Love, Gregosaurus, Tiffany Yan, Queen of Yeshua, Renee Anderson, Randy Blanks. Guys, show them some love in the chat. Big, big show today. Thank you so much for liking and sharing our videos. We love you, appreciate you, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.